Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the session of MMPC005. First of all, I will go back to the last session where we were talking about mean, mode, and median. So I will show you just a reminder what we did last time. Is, is the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
It's visible.
Okay. What is your query, Mr. Obedullah? What is your query? You have raised your hand. Now see, this is the problem which is related to finding out the median and the median class. This part, this is the basic question what is given to you. And for this question, you have to find out the median. First of all, what we will do, since we have to find the median, so we have to calculate the cumulative frequency. How cumulative frequency is calculated? Just write 4 in front of this column and add 11 to it. You will get this 15. 50 plus 19 is 34. 34 plus 14 is 48. 48 plus 0 is 48. And 48 plus 2 is 50. This is 50. Now, which is equal to n? You have you have to add this also and check it whether this is 50 or not. This the sum of this frequency and the last part has to be the same. Now, what to do? This is since we have to find the median class. So we have to find n by 2. N by 2 is 50 by 2. 50 by 2 is 25. In this cumulative frequency column, find out the number which is more than 25. We see this 34 is more than 25. That means this will be the median class. This 35 to 45 will be the median class. First answer has been found. Now we will move to the second part. That is the median. Median has the formula of L plus n by 2 minus PCF upon F into I. Now, L is this number 35. Your PCF is preceding class cumulative frequency. That is 15. And frequency of the cumulative median class is 19. And the difference between now this is 19 and the difference is 10. Write out over here. You will get 35 plus 25 minus 15 upon 19 into 10, which comes out to be 40.26. That means the median is 40.26 and the median class is 35 to 45. This is the answer. Now we move to another problem which is related to mode. Mode is basically the maximum occurring frequency is most for the raw data. But since this is a group data, so we have to apply the formula. Now, how to do that? This is the problem which is given to us. Now, what we have to do? We have to find the maximum frequency of in this column. This is 16. So we will write F1 in front of it. Over it, F0, and below it, F2. That means you have the value of F0, F1, F2. I'm repeating, maximum frequency will be marked as F1, over it F0 and F0, and below it F2. We have this formula for mode. Mode is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2F1 minus F1 and F0 and F2. Now we will place up the values over here and we calculate. We got 44. That means the mode for this problem is 44. We have to find the maximum frequency. We have to mark it F1 and over it F0 and below it F2. This is that clear? How to find the mode for group data? Now we will move to unit 4. That is, unit 4 is measures of variation and skewness. Now one thing is there, this again consists of theory as well as numerical portion. So I request everyone to have a paper and pen handy with you so that it will be easier for you even to do it simultaneously with me. Now we will start with what is the significance of measuring variation. As the word variation means, variation is deviation. Measuring variation is significant for some of the following purposes. First of all, measuring variability determines the reliability of an average by pointing out as how far an average is representative of the entire data. Secondly, another purpose of measuring variability is to determine the nature and cause of variation in order to control the variation itself. And third one is measures of variation enable comparison of two or more distributions with regards to its variability. What are the properties of good measure of variation? A good measure of variation should possess, as far as possible, the same properties as those of good measure of central tendency. That is, following are some of the well-known measures of variation which provide a numerical index of the variability to the given data. That is range, average or mean deviation, quartile deviation, which is also known as semi-interquartile range, and the fourth one is standard deviation. These four have numerical evaluation with them so that we can compare things. Now, first of all, what is range? Range is the difference between the highest and the lowest value of the distribution. Suppose we have these numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The smallest number is 2 and the largest number is 10. The difference will be 10 minus 2, that is 8. The range is the simplest measure of variability to compute. However, it does not use all of the data. It is using the extreme values. That's it. As the sample size increases, the range can increase, but range can never decrease. If we will see how, what does that mean? 2, 3, 5, 10, there are four numbers. The range is 8. Now we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have increased the numbers. Again, the range is 8. Range does not give any information about the nature of the distribution of the values. That means irrespective of the numbers. In the earlier case, there were 4, and in the downwards, there are almost 8. Now, what is coefficient of range? Highest It is basically a relation between highest minus the lowest divided by highest plus the lowest. Now we move to quartile deviation. Quartile deviation, as you are aware of, quartile means dividing the whole data into four parts. Q1 is the first quartile, Q2 is the median, and Q3 is the third quartile. Quartile deviation, which is also known as semi-interquartile range, is computed by taking the average of the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. That means Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2, where Q1 is the first quartile and Q3 is the third quartile. Now, the relative measure corresponding to quartile deviation is called as coefficient of quartile deviation, which is equal to Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. The quartile deviation is superior to the range as it is not based on two extreme values but rather on middle 50% observations. Another advantage of quartile deviation is that it is only measure of variability, which can be used for open and distribution. And the disadvantage is it's very much clear. If anything has advantage, there must be some disadvantage with it also. The disadvantage of quartile deviation is that it ignores the first and the last 25% of the observation. Now comes average deviation. The measure of average deviation is an improvement over the previous two measures, in that it considers all the observations in the given set of data. This measure is computed as mean of deviations from the mean or the median, as the question is asked. If it asks the deviation from the mean, then first of all we have to calculate the mean. And if the problem asks deviation from the median, in that case we have to first calculate median and then proceed the same way. All the deviations are treated as positive regardless of the sign. So that means we will be taking mod values. You can see in the formula, it is over there. Average deviation is equal to summation of mod x minus x bar by n. That means this is the formula for deviation above the mean. And the second formula is summation mod x minus median divided by n, which means here the deviation is from the median. The relative measure corresponding to the average deviation is called as coefficient of average deviation. If average deviation has been computed from median, the coefficient of average deviation shall be obtained by dividing the average deviation by the median. It's very well understood. If they're asking about the mean, the whole calculation has to be done from the mean. And if they are asking from median, then whole calculation is to be done from median. There is an advantage in taking the deviations from median because the sum of the absolute deviation, ignoring signs, from the median is meaning. In actual practice, however, arithmetic mean is more popular used in computation of average deviation. So that means we have to keep in mind what has been asked in the problem. Now, coefficient of average deviation is equal to average deviation divided by median if it is from the median, and similarly AD upon mean if it is from the mean. Although the average deviation is good measure of variability, its use is limited. If one desires only to measure and compare variability among several sets of data, the average deviation may be used. The major disadvantage of average deviation is that its lack of mathematical properties. It is more True, because non-use of signs in this calculation makes it algebraically inconsistent. We are ignoring negative signs because we are using only the positive deviations or positive values. We are converting the negative numbers into positive by using mod values. That is the disadvantage. Now comes the most important part, which we will be using in MMPC5 as well as in your MMPC50. That is standard deviation and variance. Standard deviation and variance measures variability about the customer. The standard deviation is used in other statistics and is the most stable of the variability indices. If one reports the mean as the measure of central tendency, then the standard deviation is also reported. The standard deviation is good for interval or ratio data. However, the standard deviation is affected by extreme values. Approximately 68% of the measurements, that is data, will fall within one deviation of mean. 95% falls within two standard deviation, that is 1.96, and 97.7% of about 100% falls within the third standard deviation. Now, initially we will start how to calculate standard deviation from the data. This again depends upon what is the nature of the data. This concept of standard deviation was introduced by Carl Pearson way back in 1893. In terms of the symbol, standard deviation is for an individual observation. That means for raw data. Standard deviation is denoted by sigma. Sigma is equal to under root summation x minus x bar square upon n. First of all, this is the formula, and later on during the session, we will see how it is applied to the numerical problems. If we have frequency, group data frequency, then what to do? See the change in the formula. What is the change in the formula? Numerator is almost the same, but we have frequency over here, so we will be multiplying this by frequency. This is the only change, and we will be multiplying frequency with the x minus x bar x minus x bar square value, and we will be dividing by total frequency. This is the change in relation. When we have group data frequency, that means we have frequency with it. Now, depending upon the problem and the numerical numbers in the problem, as I told you, as the frequency and the class intervals, class data is increasing, so accordingly we have the proportion of formula for using that. But we have to be very careful depending upon the nature of the problem or the numerical values given to us in the problem. Depending on that, we can change our formula. Now here, you can see that the formula has been somewhat changed. That is sigma is equal to under root summation fx square by n minus summation fx by n whole square. Now, now the thing is that again the same question arises if we have to use the deviation formula. So that means if you remember we calculated d is equal to x minus I in case of finding out the mean. Same formula has to be used. That means summation fd square by n divide minus within bracket summation fd by n whole square into I. Almost the same, but we have calculated this deviation d is equal to x minus a by I. Now we have to calculate variance. Variance being the square of standard deviation, and it is represented by sigma square. That means whatever the value of standard deviation you get, square it. You will get variance. Now we will see. We will do calculations. Uh, I hope everyone is having pen and paper handy with you. Now this is the table below provides data for library memberships of children in different age groups. We have to find the mean and standard deviation of the membership fee. Okay. Now how to start with it? First of all, we have to calculate mean and standard deviation. What we will do? These three columns were given to you. You have calculated, since we have to calculate it with the fee, so we will be multiplying this. Effect. Fx 30 into 10 is 300, 40 into 8 is 320, 50 into 7 is 350, 60 into 3 is 180, 70 into 2 is 140. Add these all. Now third column is required. Fx square. Square it. Square of what? X square. X is where? This. 30 square is 900. 900 into 10 is 9,000. 40 square is 1600. 1600 into 8. This will come out to be this. Similarly, 2500 into 7. This one. Add up. You will get 59900. That is summation of fx square. Summation of fx is 1290. And summation of frequency is 10. Okay. Now, first of all, we were asked to calculate mean. Mean is summation fx by n. Summation of fx is 1290 and summation of f is 30. 1290 divided by 30, which comes out to be 43. Now, how to calculate standard deviation? We know that standard deviation is having this formula. Sigma is equal to under root summation fx square upon n minus within bracket summation f1 x1 by n whole square. We have summation fx square as 59900 and yours n is 30. This is okay. And the second one, yes, yes, please. Yes, please. Mr. Amani, what is your question? What is your question, Mr. Amani?
Sorry, I don't have any question, sir. Just
Sorry?
continue, please.
I think he doesn't have any question because the uh,
Okay, I'm continuing with it. Now, the formula is summation fx square by n minus summation fx by n whole square. We have calculated all these values, but the calculation now we have to convert into the numerical number. That is under root 59900 divided by 30 minus 1290 divided by 30 whole square. Keep one thing in mind. Don't remove this 2, this square with this under root. You have to calculate its value, square it, subtract this value from this value, and then do the under root. After calculating all, you will get 12.15. Up to 2 places of decimal, this is okay. Or maximum to 3. That will be 12.151. Now we move to coefficient of variation. For distributions having the same mean, the distribution with the largest standard deviation has the greatest variation. Now, why I'm telling you? This is basically when you are comparing data, and in the problem it is asked which one has the greatest variation. You have to remember this. For distributions having the same mean, the distribution with the largest standard deviation will have the greatest variation. But when considering distributions with different means, decision makers cannot compare the uncertainty in distribution only by comparing the standard deviations. In the earlier case, mean was same. Now, in the other case, the mean is not the same. That means decision maker has the problem of getting up to the conclusion. Then what to do? Coefficient of variation. In this case, the coefficient of variation is used. The coefficient of variation for different distributions are compared, and the distribution with the largest coefficient of variation value has the greatest relative variation. For that, you should have standard deviation and the mean. That means your coefficient of variation is sigma upon mean into 100. Now, this skewness and kurtosis. The thing is that where it is used and why it is used. For getting up to the conclusion, to understand the difference between the relation, not the difference between the relation between mean, mode, and median. We calculate skewness and kurtosis. Or, in the other words, we can say that we are studying the symmetry of the distribution. If we will be using normal distribution word, or we have used it earlier also, normal distribution, under normal conditions, it is found that mean, mode, and median, both the three values are equal. And we are aware of there is an empirical relation between mean, mode, and median. Now, skewness refers to the asymmetry of a distribution. That means its variation. Symmetry means for a given deviation from the central value, there are equal number of observations on either side. If a distribution is skewed, it will have a longer tail either towards left or towards right. Or skewness is departure from the symmetry or deviation from the symmetry. In a in a symmetrical distribution, mean, mode, and median are equal. If a distribution has a long right tail, it is positively skewed, and if it has long left tail, it is negatively skewed. Now you can see over here, mode is less than median, and it is less than mean. It is a positively skewed data. And if mode is greater than median and median is greater than mean, it will move towards the left. That is negatively skewed data. This is symmetrical. Here mode is less and here mode is large. Now comes coefficient of skewness. Here you can see, depending upon the data given to us or the calculation what we have found, we can apply coefficient of skewness. And this was proposed by Carl Pearson. And it is based on all the three values, that is mean, mode, and median. Coefficient of skewness by Carl Pearson, that is Sk, is equal to x minus mode upon standard deviation. That is mean minus mode upon standard deviation. And the third formula is in the form of using quartiles. Q3 plus Q1 minus 2 times of Q2 upon Q3 minus Q1. Depending upon what the data we have, we can use the formula. We have relation between mean, mode, median, and standard deviation, and we have a formula for quartiles also. Now, again changing and calculating and drawing up the conclusions. Sk is the coefficient of skewness that is given by Carl Pearson, which is equal to 3 times of mean minus median upon standard deviation. If Sk is greater than 0, it is the distribution is positively skewed. If Sk is negative, that is less than 0, it is negatively skewed. And if Sk is equal to 0, that means the distribution is symmetrical. We have seen this formula earlier also. That is Sk is equal to Q3 plus Q1 minus 2 median upon Q3 minus Q1. Median can be written as 2 times of median is denoted by Q2. Now we see that the formula given by Bolles is more appropriate. Now we will be using the formula for this numerical. Now we will understand the concept of coefficient of skewness. These data is given to us and we have to find out the coefficient of skewness using Carl Pearson formula and Bolles method. Values will be, keep one thing in mind, values will be almost equal. We cannot say that one formula we are going to get answer as 1 and for the other we are going to get the answer as 2. It will be only a difference in the decimal values. We will see how. Now, that formula, that question has been drawn up like this. What we are given? We are given with this formula, this column and the frequency. Since we have to calculate mean, so we have to find out the midpoint, that is x. And we have to calculate d, that is x minus a upon I. Then we have to calculate fd and we have to calculate fd square. These values have to be calculated for fd square for the standard deviation. Now, the mid value will be 10 plus 12 by 2, that is 22 divided by 2 is 11. A difference instead of 2, just start adding 2 to all these values. So we will get the mid value. 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23. This column is prepared. Now find out the number of observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take the fourth one. 3 up, 3 down, and the center one. Center one has been assigned 0. Over it, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and below 0, 1, 2, 3. Multiply FD. Minus 21, minus 30, minus 18, 0, 25, 20, and 15. Now, the third one is FD square. That means we have to square it. 9 into 7, 63. 4 into 15, 60. 1 into 18, 18. 0. 1 into 25, 25. 4 into 10, 40. And 9 into 5, 45. Add up. This is summation FD square, which comes out to be 251. Summation of FD, which comes out to be minus 9. Summation of F, which is N, is equal to 100. For this observation has been evaluated. Now we move to the formula. Mean is equal to A plus summation FD by N into I. Your assumed mean was 17. Because in this column you have place of 0. So this will be your A. Plus summation FD is minus 9. Place minus 9 over here. Summation F is 100. And the difference is of 2. This, the formula has been used. Evaluated 18 by 100. This comes out to be 0.18. Subtract 0.18 from 17. It will come out to be 16.82. That means this is your mean. Now we move to mode. Mode is equal to L plus d1 upon d1 plus d2, that is into I. 18 plus 5 upon 5 plus 15 into 2, which comes out to be 18.5. How much was your mean? 16.82. Mode is 18.5. Mode is greater than mean. Now we will find out standard deviation. Standard deviation is summation fd square by n minus summation of fd by n whole square. This comes out to be 3.1634. Now you have mean, mode, and standard deviation. So we will use the two formulas. For Carl Pearson, we have mode, mean minus mode by standard deviation. As I told you initially that mode is greater than mean, it will be negatively skewed. You can see 16 minus 82 minus 18.5 divided by 3.1634, which comes out to be negative 0.5310. The value of coefficient of skewness indicates that the distribution is negatively skewed, and hence there is a great concentration towards the higher profits, because the problem was related to the profits. Now we are using this relation for Bolli's method. That is the job for you. For this particular problem, I have used Carl Pearson, and as an exercise, you can calculate it for by Bolli's method. You will get the same value, almost the same value. Now for the different problem, I'm using this below 50, below 50 to 60, 60 to 70, and 70 to 80, and 80 and above. We have number of companies, 8, 12, 20, 25, 15. We have to calculate cumulative frequency because we will be using Q1, Q2, and Q3. For that, we have to calculate cumulative frequency. I'm repeating again how cumulative frequency is calculated. 8 in front of 8, 8 plus 12 is 20, 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 25 is 65, and 65 plus 15 is 80. When you are going to sum this up, it will be 80. Now, we have to find Q1, divide by 4. 80 divided by 4 is 20. 20 comes out into this value. So here L will be 50, N by 4 will be 20, PCF will be 8, and the frequency of the median class will be 12. And the difference between these is 10. All these values are written over here. We get 60. Q1 as 60. Now we move to Q2. Q2 is N by 2. N by 2 means 40. 80 by 2 is 40. Where you get 40? 40 in this class. Now we will be using 60. We will be using 20. We will be using this 20. And I will remain the same. 60 plus 40 minus 20 by 20 into 10, which comes out to be 70. Now we have to calculate Q3. Q3 is 3n by 4. 3n by 4 means this will come out in this class. 65 class. Your PCF will be 40, your F will be 25, and your L will be 70. See, 70, 3n by 4 is 60, minus 40 by 25 into 10, which comes out to be 78. Now we have to calculate the coefficient by Bolli's method. So that means this is the formula for Bolli's. Q3 plus Q1 minus 2 median upon Q3 minus Q1. We have all the values with us. We will be just transforming these values in the formula. That is 78 plus 60 minus 2 times of 70 upon 78 minus 60, which comes out to be negative 0.11. Now, the value of coefficient of skewness indicates that the distribution is slightly skewed to the left, and therefore there is a greater concentration of the sales at the higher values than at the lower values of distribution. And by Karl Pearson, we got negative 0.11. Here, the value of coefficient of skewness indicates that distribution is negatively skewed, and hence there is greater concentration towards the higher profits. This is the conclusion what we can draw from these numerical numbers. Now comes your quartile deviation or semi-interquartile range. That is QD is equal to Q3 minus Q1 by 2. And the coefficient of quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. Q3 is third quartile, Q1 is first quartile. Quartile deviation is superior to the range as it is not based on the extreme values, but rather than on the middle 50% of the data. Another advantage of quartile deviation is there is only measure of variability which can be used for open-end distribution. And the disadvantage is that it leaves first 25% and the last 25%. Average deviation, we are aware of these formulas. If it is from the mean, it will be summation of mod values of x minus x bar by n. And if it is in case of median, so we will be finding out the deviations from the median. Theoretically speaking, there is an advantage in making the deviations from median because some of the absolute deviations from median is minimal. Now we move to very interesting part. That is block 2, which comprises of unit 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we will be talking about the basic concept of probability and discrete probability distribution today. First of all, the thing is that what is meant by probability? This is one of the most important part of the subject and a part which requires imagining because this is probability. Probability means you are not sure. You are just thinking if this will happen. Well, tomorrow it will rain or it will be a snowfall, nobody knows. That is probability. Now, probability can find out or we can conclude by seeing the past records. Very simple to understand the concept of probability. We have a coin with us. The coin has head or tail. It is very much sure that when a coin is tossed, you will either get a head or a tail. Both the things cannot come together. That is for sure. You have Afghani coin with you. Just flip it off. There is one part. It is not going to be that both the parts can come simultaneously. Whenever it is going to land on the ground, you will see one part of the coin. Other will be below it. Now, what? How to understand what is this probability is all about? Probability is concerned with random experiments. The data demands an inference to be drawn, and statistical inferences are never certain. Statisticians would be prompted to use prefixes or suffixes as likely or almost likely. They're not sure. The percentage of surety is not there. Tomorrow, there are some cases that they are for sure will happen. That means tomorrow sun will come. That is for sure. If you cannot see it, that means a cloud is there, but the sun is there. This is what we think of. What is the basic concepts of probability? Probability and its concepts are thus very important to interpret the inferential statistics. The theory of probability is a study of random experiments. In a random experiment, set of all possible outcomes is always known, but it is not possible to predetermine the outcome. For example, the probability of a coin toss resulting in either head or tail is 1. The probability of coin toss resulting in head is 0.5 because the toss is equally as likely as the result of tails, and there are only two possible outcomes. This is what I told you. Either head will come or tail will come. It's not possible that head and tail both come simultaneously. Probability deals with
Sir, sorry
calculating.
for interrupting. As I said in our previous section that बीच में अगर थोड़ा थोड़ा हिंदी में explanation हमें मिल जाएगा तो हम perfectly subjects को समझाएंगे.
ओके, ऐसा कर लेते, मुझे कोई इसमें तकलीफ नहीं है। अगर आप ये चाहते, चलिए ठीक है, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऐसी है जिसमें मैं चाहूंगा कि जैसा आपने गुजारिश की है कि हिंदी में बताने के लिए, मैं हिंदी में बता देता हूं। एक कॉइन है, कॉइन को मैंने जब टॉस किया तो जब वो जमीन पे लैंड करेगा तब उसमें एक ही चीज पॉसिबल है, या तो उसमें हेड होगा या उसमें टेल होगा। ऐसा कभी भी नहीं हो सकता कि हेड और टेल एक साथ आए। अब आप कहेंगे कि और कोई एग्जांपल ऐसा जो जिसके अंदर आपको ये पता लगे कि ऐसा हो सकता है, तो आपके पास ताश के पत्ते होते हैं, उसमें 52 पत्ते होते हैं। अभी जब हम आगे चलेंगे तो हम ताश के पत्तों का एग्जांपल लेंगे। अभी टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड कि प्रोबेबिलिटी है क्या, उसका कंसेप्ट क्या है, हम ढूंढते क्या है, हमें करना क्या है, अभी मैं सिर्फ वही बता रहा हूं कि आप ऐसे समझिए कि प्रोबेबिलिटी का मतलब ये है कि कोई चीज के होने की संभावना क्या है। जैसे कि हम बारिश की बात करते हैं, स्नोफॉल की बात करते हैं, तो हमको कंफर्म नहीं होता है कि कल बारिश या स्नोफॉल होगी या नहीं होगी। हम सिर्फ एक प्रोबेबिलिटी निकालते हैं। वो प्रोबेबिलिटी हम कहाँ से निकालते हैं? पिछले 3 साल का रिकॉर्ड देखकर कि 17 दिसंबर को बारिश होने की या स्नोफॉल होने की प्रोबेबिलिटी है या नहीं है, अपार्ट फ्रॉम सीइंग द सैटेलाइट पिक्चर। अब प्रोबेबिलिटी का आंसर जो आपका होगा, बस छोटा सा वैसे बताया था, प्रोबेबिलिटी का आंसर जो होगा वो हमेशा 1 से कम होगा। अगर आपका कभी भी प्रोबेबिलिटी का आंसर 1 से ज्यादा आ रहा है तो आपने उसमें कुछ ना कुछ गलती की है, यू हैव कमिटेड सम मिस्टेक इन दैट। If you are confirmed about a event, tomorrow sun will rise, that's sure. So its probability will be 1. Rest, its answer will vary from 0 to 1. An event with probability of 1 can be considered as a certain event, and an event with the probability of 0 is considered to be an impossible event. ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. किसी इम्पॉसिबल इवेंट का मतलब क्या है कि जो चीज हो ही नहीं सकती. सूरज कभी भी वेस्ट से नहीं निकल सकता, और जब भी निकलेगा, जब तक दुनिया है, वो ईस्ट से ही निकलेगा. In other words, with the help of probability, we can assign a measure to the uncertainty with the concern occurrence of each possible outcome of a random experiment. अब आप ये देख रहे होंगे, ये ताश के पत्ते हैं, और if I am not wrong, you all are aware of about the pack of cards. Is that clear? Are you aware of pack of cards?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Now it will be easier to understand it. As you have seen, you can see that what is the probability of getting a red card from a pack of cards. There are 52 cards. 26 cards are black and 26 cards are red. Your question is to find out a probability of getting a red card. If we talk about
50-50, sir.
probability, and your answer will not be in 50, as that is for sure. That is 50-50, but how to write it? Your answer will be in the form of a fraction number or decimal. That will be, yes, very correct, 52. We have black card, we have red card as 26, and the total number of cards are 52. That means probability of an event is favorable cases upon total number of cases. Your favorable cases are 26 and total number of cases are 52. That means probability of getting a red card will be 26 by 52, which is mathematically equal to 1 by 2, and 1 by 2 is 50%. Now, basic terminology. What is meant by experiment? Now the thing is that अब मैं जो भी टर्मिनोलॉजी इसके आगे यूज करूंगा, वो आपने अभी तक मेरे कन्वर्सेशन में प्रोबेबिलिटी कहीं ना कहीं सुन ली है या देख ली है. अब सिर्फ हम ये बता रहे हैं कि वो एक्चुअली था क्या जो हमने आपको बताया था. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, एक्सपेरिमेंट. द टर्म एक्सपेरिमेंट इज यूज्ड इन प्रोबेबिलिटी थ्योरी in such a much broader sense than in physics or chemistry. Any action, whether it is tossing of a coin, measurement of a product's dimension to ascertain its quality, or the launching of a new product in the market, constitute an experiment in probability theory terminology. There are बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं जिनका हम प्रोबेबिलिटी में ले सकते हैं. If I'm not sure, what I was told that there are almost 40 learners associated with this MBA program. Now, if we have to find out what will be the maximum probability that maximum learners can join or are present in the class, as a teacher, as a counselor, I should always have this question in my mind: how many learners will join my session for this course? Every day or every time the probability changes. That means we have to see when this research work will be conducted by someone, so they will be trying to find out the different reasons. What was the reason? Maximum on that particular day, was the topic was interesting, was the subject was interesting, yeah, what they were available that day, whatever. the results is. That means now that part will be constituting of a part of probability. You keeping your attendance into consideration, we will be finding out. We will be guessing the way. What was how much you have shown your interest in the subject or in your studies. Second part comes sample space. The set of all possible outcomes of an experiment is defined as sample space. Simple example, tossing of a coin. Either you will get head or tail. That means your sample space is 2, which is tail and head. Each outcome is thus visualized as a sample point in the sample space. Thus, set head and tail defines the sample space of the tossing up of a coin. Event. An event is probability in probability theory constitutes one or more possible outcomes of an experiment. Thus, event can be defined as a subset of sample space. Experiment is tossing of a coin. Your sample space is tail and head. इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता है टॉस कॉइन को टॉस करने में एंड इवेंट क्या है गेटिंग अ टेल ऑन द टॉस और getting a head on the toss. But if the question comes head and tail both, your answer will be 0. That is not possible. The concept is clear. Experiment is tossing of a coin. Sample space is either head or tail, that is 2. And your event is getting a head or getting a tail on the toss. That means tail is 1. Total number of samples space is 2. The probability will be 1 by 2. Now, defining what is the definition of probability. As I said, this is somewhat very interesting concept we have to be sure of. This is a broad concept, but we are taking a part of it to make you understand what the concept is. Probability is defined in many ways. First of all, it is classical definition of probability, and then comes your axiomatic definition of probability. Before beginning probability, several definitions are needed to be understood. First of all, random experiment. An experiment or trial whose outcome is not perfectly predictable, but for which the set of all possible outcomes in repeated trial is known. Very simple. Toss of a coin. You are aware of what will be the outcomes, either head or a tail. That means this is a random experiment and random variable. A random variable is an assignment of numbers to possible outcomes of the random experiment. That means when you are tossing up a coin, what will happen? It is sure that it will be either head or tail. Now, if you are tossing 2 coins, then both 2 coins will be landing simultaneously on the ground. Then what will be the total sample space? Either there will be 4 cases. Try to understand what I mean to say. It's not written over here, but what I'm telling you, try to understand. It will be easier for you to understand the concept. If you are tossing 2 coins at a time, हम 2 coin एक साथ उछालते हैं, क्या होगा? एक में हेड आएगा, एक में टेल आएगा. ये हो सकता है. ये हो सकता है कि दोनों में हेड आ जाए, 2 केस हो गए. ये हो सकता है दोनों में टेल आ जाए, 3 केस हो सकते हैं. या ये हो सकता है कि पहले वाले में टेल आए, दूसरे वाले में हेड आए, तो 4 केस हो. इससे ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता. आप भी सोचिए कि जब मैं 2 कॉइन उछालूंगा, टॉस करूंगा, तो आउटकम क्या आएगा, टोटल नंबर ऑफ केसेस क्या होंगे और उनके आउटकम क्या हो सकते हैं. दोनों में टेल, दोनों में हेड, एक में टेल, एक में हेड, या एक में हेड दूसरे में टेल, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. इज दैट क्लियर?
Yes, sir, that is clear.
यही हो सकता है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं हो सकता. अब इसको मैथमेटिकली कैसे यूज
Possible
करना
नहीं.
है? Outcome space is the set of all possible outcomes of a given random experiment. The outcome space is often denoted by capital S, that is sample size. An event is a subset of outcome space. जो डेटा आपके पास S में मिला है, जो इवेंट हो रहा होगा वो इवेंट उसी S के अंदर होगा. Outcomes of set of all possible results is a of a random experiment. Exhaustive event. Exhaustive events are a set of events in a sample space such that one of them compulsorily occurs while performing the experiment. अब ये सोचने वाली बात है कि अब इसमें क्या होगा. एक इवेंट हो रहा है, उसके अंदर जब वो चीज एग्जिस्ट कर रही है या आपको दिख रही है, तो उसके अंदर ये कंफर्मेशन है कि ये तो होगा ही होगा. दैट मीन्स सन विल कम, but it may rain, it may not rain. In simple words, we can say that all possible events in a sample space of an experiment constitutes exhaustive events. वो उसके अंदर ही होगा. For example, while tossing an unbiased coin, there are two possible outcomes, head or tail. So these two outcomes are exhaustive as one of them will definitely occur while flipping up the coin. कॉइन हवा में गायब नहीं हो सकता, कॉइन जमीन पे नहीं जा सकता, जमीन में धंस नहीं सकता. तो वो कॉइन जब गिरेगा तो उसमें कंफर्म है कि या तो हेड होगा या टेल होगा. दैट इज अ केस ऑफ एग्जॉस्टिव इवेंट. Disjoint or mutually exclusive events. Two events are disjoint or mutually exclusive if the occurrence of one is incompatible with the occurrence of other. That is, if they can't both happen once, if they have no outcome in common. Eventually, two events are disjoint if their intersection is empty set. Now the thing is that there is some concept of set theory is used. So that is why we have to understand it. What does that these terminology mean? I will show you with an example. What does this all means? Then comes your independent events. Two events A and B are statistically independent if the chance that they both happen simultaneously in a product of the chances that each occurs individually. In independent event, we have to multiply the probability of two events. Keep this thing in mind. Or knowledge that one event has occurred does not give any information about the other event has occurred too. See the example, getting head on the first throw and getting head on the second throw are two independent events. क्योंकि आपको पहली थ्रो से कोई मतलब नहीं है कि दूसरी थ्रो में पहली थ्रो का कोई इफेक्ट है या नहीं है. जब इफेक्ट नहीं होगा तो वो इंडिपेंडेंट इवेंट है. आपने कॉइन को टॉस किया है, हेड आ गया. आपने दोबारा उस कॉइन को टॉस किया, टेल आ गया. इससे कोई मतलब नहीं है कि पहले उसमें हेड आया था या टेल आया था. जब वो दोबारा सेकेंड टाइम लैंड करेगा तो वो उसको कोई उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है कि पहले वो इवेंट हो चुकी है. इक्वली लाइकली इवेंट. Two events are said to be equally likely if the occurrence of none of them is expected in preference to others. What does that mean? Equally likely events are those events which has equal probability of occurring. फिर हम एग्जांपल लेंगे toss of a coin का, because to understand it, this is the easiest and the best example. The probability of getting head is 1/2 and probability of getting tail is 1/2. That means this is an example of equally likely event. Irrespective पहले क्या आया था कोई मतलब नहीं है, क्या आएगा बाद में इससे भी कोई मतलब नहीं है. Probability अगर मैं flip of a coin करूंगा या तो head आएगा या tail आएगा, उनकी probability 1/2 ही होगी. Equally likely events when we roll a die. आपको डाई मालूम है? आप लोग डाइस को या डाई को जानते हैं?
कौन सा डाइट सर? वो खाने का डाइट कह रहे हो, वो जो पानी में कूदने रहे
नहीं
वो वाला डाइट?
नहीं, मैं उस डाई की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. एक लूडो खेल होता है, खोल अभी आपको इमेज दिखेगी शायद, व्हाइट कलर का होता है. इट इज ए क्यूबॉइड इन शेप विच हैज नंबर्ड 1 to 6 ऑन इट.
हाँ हाँ सर, वो सबको पता है.
यस
जैसे वो शेक करते हैं, वो फिर डालते हैं बोर्ड पर.
yes, somebody has replied that is used in ludo, but that is the thing, because I normally take those examples which everybody, I hope you have seen it, to make it easier rather than making something difficult to think more. I normally take examples which are simple and easier. I'm talking about dice. There are
थैंक यू
6
सर,
numbers
थैंक यू.
on it. There are 6 numbers on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, when I'm going to roll a dice, again the thing is that either of the numbers from the 6 will come. Correct? If I'm talking about 1, the total number of cases are 6 and favorable cases is 1. The probability of getting 1 on a roll of dice is 1/6. Again, probability of getting 2 is 1/6. 3, 1/6. 4, 1/6. 5, 1/6. And 6, 1/6. That means these are equally likely events. However, the probability of drawing one red ball in a bag of 3. So now listen to it very carefully. See the change. The probability of drawing one red ball in a bag of 3 blue and 2 red ball is 2/5. Now what is this? Total number of balls is 5. 3 plus 2. If you are being asked to calculate drawing red ball, how many red balls are there? 2. So favorable cases will be 2 and total number of cases will be 3 plus 2, 5. That means the probability of drawing a red ball from this bag will be 2/5. But the probability of drawing a blue ball will be 3/5. That means we can clearly see that these events are not equally likely to occur. Was difficult to get it.
एक बार हिंदी में भी बता दे सर, यही बॉल का एग्जांपल.
भाई आपके पास एक बैग है, बैग के अंदर 3 ब्लू बॉल है और 2 रेड बॉल है. अब सिंपल मैथमेटिक्स, हमें नहीं मालूम, हमें एक बॉल निकालनी है. एक बॉल निकालने की, और वो मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि लाल बॉल होनी चाहिए. लाल बॉल निकालने की प्रोबेबिलिटी क्या होगी? क्योंकि बैग के अंदर 2 लाल बॉल है और 3 नीली बॉल है, तो टोटल बॉल कितनी है? 5. रेड बॉल निकालनी है तो प्रोबेबिलिटी कितनी हो जाएगी? 2/5. उसी बैग में से अगर मुझे ब्लू बॉल निकालनी है तो ब्लू बॉल कितनी है? 3. टोटल बॉल कितनी है? 5. प्रोबेबिलिटी क्या हो जाएगी? 3/5. करेक्ट?
करेक्ट सर, पर प्रोबेबिलिटी की इक्वल नहीं है यहाँ पर. नहीं, 2 3 होगा.
कौन सा?
यही
जब मैं
बॉल का
ब्लू
है
बॉल,
सर. 4 ब्लू बॉल्स थे और 2 रेड बॉल्स थे.
नहीं, 3 ब्लू बॉल है. आपको स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा?
अभी दिख रहा है सर.
सामने
3
3 ब्लू है, 2 रेड है,
और 2 रेड
टोटल
है.
बॉल 5 हुई. और रेड बॉल निकालनी है मुझे तो उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी 2/5 होगी. और अगर मुझे उसी बैग के अंदर से मेरे को ब्लू बॉल निकालनी है, तो प्रोबेबिलिटी 3/5 होगी। वह साफ
3/5
साफ देख सकते हैं कि प्रोबेबिलिटी इन दोनों की सेम नहीं है, इसलिए नॉट इक्वली लाइकली टू अकर। नाउ कम्स अगर मैथमेटिकल, अब मैं बात करूं, हमने कर लिया इतना इतना ज्यादा थ्योरी पढ़ ली। अब क्या है कि एक्चुअली इसका फॉर्मूला क्या है लिखने का, वो मैं जो मैं बोल चुका हूं वो अब मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं। If n is the number of equally likely, mutually exclusive, and exhaustive outcomes of a random experiment, of which m outcomes are favorable to the occurrence and the event A, and the probability of event A to occur is written as PA, number of outcomes favorable to A upon number of exhaustive outcomes. Otherwise, इसका मतलब वही है, probability of any event is equal to number of favorable cases upon total number of cases. Now see, all these approaches, however, share the same basic axioms. These axioms are fundamental to probability theory and provide us with unified approach to probability. And these axioms are, चलिए ठीक है, मैं आपको वैसे ही हिंदी में बता देता हूँ। कभी भी किसी भी इवेंट की प्रोबेबिलिटी जो होगी वो 0 और 1 के बीच में होगी। आपका आंसर जब भी आएगा वो 0 और 1 के बीच में होगा फॉर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ एनी इवेंट। अगर आपका आंसर कभी भी 1 से ज्यादा आ रहा है या नेगेटिव में आ रहा है तो आपने कुछ ना कुछ, यू हैव कमिटेड सम एरर इन कैलकुलेशन। नंबर 1, when you are adding up the probability of occurrence of event, जब आप उनको सम करेंगे तो वो 1 आएगा। अब आप पूछेंगे कैसे? अब बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल है, आपने एक कॉइन को टॉस किया, आपको या तो हेड मिलेगा या टेल मिलेगा, करेक्ट? प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ हेड क्या होगी? 1/2। प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ टेल क्या होगी? 1/2। अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं कि व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग हेड, तो आप क्या कहेंगे? 1/2, करेक्ट? अगर मुझे ये निकालना प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ गेटिंग टेल क्या होगा, अदरवाइज क्या होगा, तो व्हाट आई विल डू, यहाँ तो बहुत सिंपल था, मुझे सामने दिख रहा था 1/2। मैथमेटिकली जब हम इस प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व कर रहे हैं तो व्हाट वी विल डू, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ, कीप वन थिंग इन माइंड, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सक्सेस प्लस प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ फेलियर इज इक्वल टू 1। probability of success plus probability of failure is equal to 1/2, is equal to 1, सॉरी। किसी भी चीज का इवेंट का होना प्लस उस इवेंट का ना होना वो हमेशा 1 के बराबर होगा। Here it comes. If two events are such that occurrence of one implies that the other cannot occur, then the probability that either one or the other will occur is equal to the sum of individual probabilities. That is, probability of head plus probability of tail is equal to 1. हम probability के terms में कहते हैं probability of success plus probability of failure is equal to 1. तो आपने axioms क्या देखी? किसी भी इवेंट का होना प्लस उस इवेंट का ना होना, उसका सम जो होगा 1 होगा। हमेशा इवेंट की प्रोबेबिलिटी वो 0 और 1 के बीच में होगी, नेगेटिव कभी नहीं होगी और 1 से ज्यादा कभी नहीं हो सकती। और वो इवेंट जो कंफर्म है कि वो होगा ही होगा, वही होगा, उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी 1 होगी। Now see, this problem is a very complex problem. You have to apply your concept of imagination. This problem is related to Set's theorem, and we will be calculating things, analyzing things. One of a complex situation is there. Now see, in a survey, it was found that 21 people liked product A, 26 liked B, and 29 liked C. If 14 people liked A and B, 12 people liked C and A, and 14 people liked B and C, and 8 liked all the three. Now you can see how complex is the problem. There are three events. Three events means three products A, B, and C. Try to understand the problem, as I hope everybody is in a position to see the slides. See what is given to us and what has been asked to calculate. Product A, product B, and product C are there. What are the possible conditions? Some may like A and B, some may like B and C, some may like A and C, and some may like all the three. This is what is given to the problem. And we have to find how many like product C only. First of all, the thing that will come into your mind will be 29, sir, it is given in the problem. But there are different combinations with other two products also. Here you have to see. Now see how that has been notified. Na is equal to 21, NB is equal to 26, and C is equal to 29. This data is given to you in the first line. Now, on the second online onwards, you can see that 14 people like product A and B. Product A and B means intersection. That is inverted U. 14 A and B. C and A is 12, and B and C is 8. And there are three who liked all the three. That means A intersection B intersection C. Now, I will be drawing a Venn diagram for it. Here it comes. There are three events A, B, and C. They have been marked A by C. Now we will see how many are there in A and B. See to the right figure very carefully what is happening, because that will help you into getting up the conclusion. I'm not doing any mathematical calculation. I'm just applying the concept. Going back to the problem, and A intersection B is 14. I have three circles drawn in it. Now see to it very carefully what has happened. A intersection B is 14. And you can see in this problem that A intersection B intersection C is 8. Straight away, this is the common region for all the three. This is the common region for all of the three. Straight away, write 8 over here. I'm just drawing this conclusion in this form. See to it how I'm doing it. 8 is over here. Now, A and B, intersection A and B is what? 14. 8 is already over here. So it will be 14 minus 8. That is 6. The common region for this. Now I will talk to B to C. B to C is 14. 8 are already over here. So for subtracting 8 from it, I will get 6. And if I talk about A and C is 12. I'm already having 8. I'm left with 4. Okay. Now we have to find out how many are there who like C? What is the total number for C? Total number for C is 29. Subtract these numbers because these numbers are included in this also, and in common. So what I will be doing, I will be adding 8 plus 4 plus 6. This comes out to be 18. 18 minus 29. That means this part will be 11. This part over here is 11. When I'm going to add all this, this will be complete C, which is 29. Got it? I have
गॉट इट
simply
सर.
done.
हम किसी भी फॉर्म पे इसको डाल सकते हैं, एंगल भी बना सकते हैं या कोई उसका कोई और शेप भी बना सकते हैं, पर उनको ऐसे ही ज्वाइन करना पड़ेगा, जो मिक्स पॉइंट्स है वो
नहीं
आउटपुट हो जाए.
नहीं नहीं, हाँ, ये आपने सवाल बहुत अच्छा पूछा. कोई और शेप आप नहीं बनाएंगे. इट विल बी सर्कल ओनली बिकॉज इट इज इजियर टू इंटरप्रिटेट एंड इजियर टू ड्रॉ. आप फ्री हैंड हाथ से 3 सर्कल बना के यू कैन कंक्लूड, एंड बिकॉज द थ्योरी इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज, इट विल रिमेन द सेम. दिस इज समवॉट इज रिलेटेड टू सेट थ्योरी. मैथमेटिकल इंटरप्रिटेशन और प्रोबेबिलिटी में इसकी हमें जरूरत पड़ती है. तो कन्वेंशनली वी ड्रॉ इट विद सर्कल्स ओनली, क्योंकि अगर आप इसको ट्रायंगल बनाएंगे या कुछ और बनाएंगे तो इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट टू इंटरप्रिटेट एंड गेट द रिजल्ट डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द कॉमन एरिया, because we always talk about the common area of it. Now see what is happening over here. A complex problem, easy to understand, but it's not that easy also to understand. You have to think over. Consider your locality, wherever you are staying. Where out of 5,000 people residing, 1,200 are above 30 years of age, and 3,000 are females. Okay. This is a problem related to probability now. Out of the 1,200 who are above 30, 200 are female. Suppose after a person is chosen, you are told that the person is a female. What is the probability that she is above 30 years? जरा इस प्रॉब्लम को आप खुद 2 दफा पढ़िए और पढ़ के ये समझने की कोशिश कीजिए कि ये क्या पूछ रहा है और क्या निकालना है. आप सवाल में क्या पूछा गया है?
फीमेल की एज सर जो 30 से ज्यादा है.
आपको ऐसा लगेगा इसमें कि आपको आंसर मिल गया है. इस प्रॉब्लम में मुझे मालूम है कि अभी आप में से कोई मुझसे ये कहेगा कि सर दिस इज द आंसर, बट जो आप बताएंगे वो शायद वो आंसर ना हो, क्योंकि आंसर इसके अगली स्लाइड में आएगा. यहाँ तो सिर्फ क्वेश्चन और हमको ढूंढना क्या है, हमें करना क्या है, ऐसा कुछ हमने आपको दिखाया है. क्वेश्चन में एक बार दोबारा पढ़ देता हूँ. कंसीडर योर लोकेलिटी where out of 5,000 people residing, 1,200 are above 30 years of age and 3,000 are female. Out of the 1,200 who are above 30, 200 are female. Suppose a person is chosen and you are told that that person is a female. What is the probability that she is above 30? तो अब मैं बताता हूँ आपको. आपने जो प्रोबेबिलिटी क्या चूज की है, एक ही, अ पर्सन चोजन इज अबव 30. लास्ट लाइन में लिखा हुआ है ना. बी क्या कंडीशन है कि वो फीमेल है. अब ए और बी 2 चीजें इवेंट हो गई आपकी. अब उन्होंने क्वेश्चन में आपसे ये कहा है कि लेडी जो आपने क्वेश्चन जो पर्सन निकाला है वो 30 इयर्स ऑफ एज है, अबव 30 इयर्स ऑफ एज है और वो लेडी है. यही क्वेश्चन है ना आपका. तो आपको अगर मैं प्रोबेबिलिटी की फॉर्म में लिखा जाएगा इसको, तो लिखा जाएगा प्रोबेबिलिटी ए ओवर बी. Out of 1200 persons who are of 30, 200 are female. प्रॉब्लम में लिखा हुआ है. Out of the 5000 people in the locality, 200 possesses the characteristics of being female and above 30. तो आपका आंसर क्या होगा? 200 by 5000. Out of 5000 people in the locality, 200 possesses the characteristics of being female and above 30. आपसे यही तो पूछा है प्रॉब्लम में. Event A and B have been defined as AB. Event that a person is both female and above 30 years of age. तो भाई 2200 ही है. अपॉन टोटल कितना है? 5000. Is that clear or not? क्वेश्चन आपको दोबारा दिखा देते हैं, देखिए. Consider your locality where out of 5000 people residing, 1200 are above 30 years of age and 3000 are female. Out of this 1200 are who are above 30, 200 are female. बस यही लिखा हुआ है वो. Suppose that a person is chosen and the person is a female. What is the probability that she is 30? Above 30? तो आपकी तो प्रॉब्लम में गिवन है वो 200. टोटल कितने हैं? फेवरेबल केसेस कितनी है? दैट ए लेडी एंड अबव 30, 200. एंड टोटल नंबर ऑफ केसेस कितने हैं? 5000. तो आपकी प्रोबेबिलिटी ए बी क्या हो जाएगी? 200 by 5000. Now see to it. Another method of getting it. That is that much simple. Now, this has been told that the probability will remain between 0 and 1 only. It will always be a non-negative number and it will be less than or equal to 1. Okay. Probability of certain event is 1. This has been told to you. Now see to the condition probability theorem. I'm talking about how it is written. If for two events in the sample space S, the probability of either simultaneous occurrence is given by P A intersection B is equal to PA into PB by A. If we have to find for B, that will be PB into PA by B. See the change, only reciprocal has been there. Where PB by A is a conditional probability. I'm telling you this conditional probability because in Bayes theorem, conditions apply. Where? In Bayes theorem. We will see to here it comes, Bayes theorem. Before starting to the theorem, it is imperative to know about prior and posterior probabilities. Now the question arises, what is meant by prior probabilities? These are the probabilities which are assigned to events on the basis of conditions, past experience or judgment. And posterior probabilities are those which are revised probabilities in the light of some additional information. Now see how this is implied. This is the mathematical relation. You have to remember this. This is the mathematical relations for writing Bayes theorem. It states that if A and B are two mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive events, and C is another event defined in the context of same experiment, then the given values of PA, PB, PC by A, PC by B, the conditional probability is कहने का मतलब ये है 3 इवेंट हो रहे हैं ए बी सी। मैंने आपसे ये कहा कि सी इवेंट की प्रोबेबिलिटी मुझे निकालनी है अगर उसकी कंडीशन होने की ये है, अगर आ जाए, इफ कंडीशन, इसमें वही है कंडीशन फॉर्मूला क्या है, तो मैं हिंदी में बताता हूं आपको। इफ वी टॉक अबाउट पी ए बाई सी, सी द चेंज ओनली, पी ए बाई सी, in the numerator it will be pc by a into pa upon probability of pc a, c by a plus into pa plus pc by b into pa। सिमिलरली अगर मुझे बी और सी की निकालनी है तो ऊपर सी बी और बी आ जाएगा, नीचे ए बी सी आ जाएगा। अभी मैं प्रॉब्लम देके आपको समझाता हूँ। अब देखिए, ये बेस थ्योरम पहली बात बहुत बड़ी स्टेटमेंट होगी। दूसरी बात, इसमें 2 या 3 इवेंट हो रहे होंगे और उसमें आपसे ये कहा जाएगा ऐसा हो रहा है, कब हो रहा है, अगर ये हो चुका है या ऐसा होना है। तो अब देखिए, अ कार मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैक्ट्री हैज 2 प्लांट्स A, X and Y. Plant X manufactures 70% of the cars. तो जाहिर सी बात है कि जो प्लांट बी वाई होगा वो 30% ही बनाएगा। 80% of the cars of plant X and 90% of the cars of plant Y are rated to be of standard quality. Correct? प्रोबेबिलिटी 100 से ज्यादा नहीं हो सकती। जो भी कार वो कंपनी एक्स बना रही है, प्लांट एक्स में बन रही है, उसकी जो स्टैंडर्ड क्वालिटी कार्स है दैट इज 80 और दूसरे प्लांट की है 90। अब a car is chosen at random and it is found to be of standard quality। देखिए पहला क्या है, क्वालिटी, कार जो आपने ड्रैग निकाली है दैट इज ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड क्वालिटी, बट उसकी कंडीशन क्या है कि वो किस प्लांट से आई है, दैट इज व्हाट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट इट हैज कम फ्रॉम प्लांट एक्स। अब मैथमेटिकली हम इसको कैसे लिखेंगे। हमारी प्रॉब्लम है इवेंट क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड कार, तो हम इसको बात करेंगे ई से। 2 प्लांट हैं, उसे हमने B1 और B2 कर दिया। अगर मैं प्लांट B1 की प्रोबेबिलिटी ढूंढूंगा तो दैट मीन 70% है, तो 70/10 हो गया। 30 B2 कितना है, प्लांट Y है आपका, 30% हो गया। 30/100 का मतलब हो गया 3/10। इनमें एक चीज का ध्यान रखिएगा, डिनोमिनेटर को सेम रखिएगा। मैंने यहां पर 10 लिया है। अब PE/B1 यानी कि स्टैंडर्ड कार जो प्लांट 1 से आई 80% थी, 80% का मतलब हो गया 8/10। स्टैंडर्ड कार जो प्लांट बी से आई वो है 90%, 90/100 का मतलब हो गया 9/10। करेक्ट? ये डेटा तो आपको प्रॉब्लम में गिवन था। अब आपसे पूछा है कि आपको स्टैंडर्ड कार चाहिए और जो प्लांट एक्स से आई, यानी कि इसको मैं चेंज करूंगा, ऊपर को देखा और नीचे देखिए, इसको देखिए और इसको देखिए। स्टैंडर्ड कार जो प्लांट 1 से आई, मैंने इसको उल्टा कर दिया। उल्टा करने के बाद यहाँ देखिए, PB1 इंटू PE/B1 अपॉन PB1 प्लस PE/B1 प्लस PB2 प्लस इंटू PE/B2। अब देखिए सारी वैल्यूज आपको गिवन है, ये डिनोमिनेटर सब 10 पे हैं, काटने में सिंप्लीफाई करने में आसानी होती है। अब मैं सिखाऊंगा आपको कैसे होगा ये। अब आप ये देखिए, PB1 मालूम है आपको 7/10, PE/B1 ये रहा 8/10। अब डिनोमिनेटर के अंदर ये तो एज इट इज उतारिए और दूसरा वाला जो बचा हुआ है 3/10 इंटू 9/10, इनको आप लिख दीजिए। अब देखिए करना क्या है, जब आप इनको मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो न्यूमरेटर में आ जाएगा 56/100, यहां पर भी आ गया 56/100 प्लस 27/100। मैं क्या करूंगा, डिनोमिनेटर तो सबके 100 ही आएंगे, तो मैं क्या करूंगा 7 इंटू 8 56 और इन चारों का सम, इन दोनों का प्रोडक्ट प्लस सम, 56 प्लस 27 होता है 83। Yeah. Okay. Without going to further step, I'm just asking you to eliminate this. Multiply this 56 and add these four numbers. First of all, multiply and then add. 56 plus 27 is 83. This is the right method for writing up the solution for the problem. Here it is. BB1, 7 by 10. BB2, 3 by 10. And probability of standard quality of car manufactured by plant X is given in the problem, that is 80%, 8 by 10. Plant B, 9 by 10. Now what you are supposed to do? You have to find that a car is drawn, it is of standard quality, and it is from plant X. Write the probability in the numerator and divide it by the probability of both. If I change this problem to now Y, what will happen? If in case of this X, Y was there. If in this case Y was there, what about what I have what I would have done? I have written these numbers over here, and rest everything will remain the same. I will just replace these numbers with this, and denominator will remain the same. So answer will be 27 by 83. You can calculate it right now. Thank you. Already calculated. Great. Yes. Now, who wants to join right now? Okay, the concept is clear now. Because while you will be asked to write the answers, you have to write the answer in this way only. I'm showing it to you too again. This is a problem related to Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem comes under the condition of conditional probability. See to the problem once again and see how the notifications are written. A car manufacturing factory has two plants, X and Y. What is that? X and Y, plant X manufactures 70% of the car and plant Y manufactures 30%. 80% of the cars of plant X and 90% of the cars of Y are of standard quality. A car is chosen at random and is found to be of standard quality. What is the probability that it has come from plant X? So first of all, our event is that the car is of standard quality. Correct. There are two plants, B1 and B2. That means probability of B1 selecting a plant, selecting a car, that is 70 by 100. B2 is 30 by 100. Change it to a common denominator that is of 10. It will be 7 by 10. What is this? 27 by 2. And probability B will be 3 by 10. Now your denominator is 10. What is the problem? It is given in the problem that a car that is of standard quality and has been manufactured by plant X is 80 by 100. So I will be changing it to 80 by 10. Standard quality car manufactured by plant Y, that is PE by B2, which is equal to 90 by 100, which is equal to 90 by 10. Now, the question is, the car is selected. It is of standard quality and it is from plant X. What I will, how I will write. This is the way to write. Probability of selecting the plant X into selecting the getting the probability of quality car from that plant. Okay, divided by P B1 into P E by B1 plus B P B2 into P E by B2. We have these values. For solving this, you have to multiply this by this right over here, 56. Multiply this plus this. That means 56 plus 27 is 83. Because your denominator here will, and the denominator of this will become the numerator, and this will both get cancelled. It's, I'm just asking you to skip that and multiply this right over here and multiply this plus this. That is 56 plus 27 is 83. And similarly, if this plant Y was asked, so I would have replaced this value by B2, E by B2. And I would have kept this over here and removed this. Denominator will remain the same and your answer will be 27 by 83. Or without calculating it, you subtract it from 1. 1 minus 56 upon 83, you will get 27 by 83. It's up to you how it is asked in the problem. Any question from anyone? Any question from anyone now? Yes, please. Ask it, ask it. What is your question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation. I want to mention an important issue that from previous session we have not received a summarized new presentation from your side. If you share these presentation and slides with us, it would be great for us to understand and study easily these lessons.
Okay. So should I do it after the end of the session or you want in between? Because volume is, first of all, I request everyone to go through your study material, what has been provided. And once this content, my classes are over, so definitely I will ask the authorities to share the slides with you. First of all, I will request that you should go through the material first.
Yes, we are studying the material daily and frequently, but your slide is so summarized for us. Will be very important to study these slides. Although we are studying the LMS material that have already been uploaded.
Mhm. Okay, I will, no doubt I will share it, but that will be easier for you to just go through the standard material, listen to my session, and then get my slide.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Is
sir.
that
Thank you
okay?
very much. Okay, thank you.
Then I will do it. No problem. After asking of the authorities, I will ask them to upload the slides to you for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Should we conclude today's session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.